At this point, you are very efficient and you already have your project component to use it. We are already using it. You can see we have the title, we have the description, even we have the icon, and a very good way to show it to our visitors into our portfolio. But we finished with a little issue once again, because this time we need to dynamically define the icon that we need to use. And this is a little tricky one, because essentially the way to use the icons is to importing them directly as a component into our script, basically into our JavaScript, and then using it as a, let's say, tag into our content. So how can we change that? Well, results.view provide us a way. Yes, this is a view specific feature that we can create a generic tag saying, hey, it looks like the name of this specific tag is something that comes from a function, a method, and that method is going to resolve the name of the actual project coming from, well, the essential name of the icon that we already have from our database. So yeah, we are basically saying that we are going to dynamically resolve the name of that specific tag and import it, of course, coming from that list of definitions. So instead of using always the same specific tag, we need to go and use the corresponding one. So how can we do that? Well, we can just define a specific component, a regular or generic tag, and we can say it to our specific code. So the name of the tag is gonna be just component. As I said, this is basically a generic one. We can close it here, and then we need to define dynamically the name of this component through the is directive. So we have this, and the is value is gonna be from a function that we are going to declare, which is component name. And this is going to receive the actual index of the project that we are looping on that specific moment. Because yes, from the full list of projects, we need to define which one is the one that we want to resolve the icon for. So that means that additionally from getting the list of projects here, we need to resolve the actual index. So between parentheses here, we have the project and the index. Of course, all of that coming from project. So if we want the icon from the project in the position 0, we will be able to know that because we already have the list of projects into our list of properties. So let's define this specific functionality, or basically method, into our proper script. So let's go back there in the bottom, and well, additionally from the components, from the properties, we can have, of course, a method. So we have here methods, which is gonna be, of course, an object, and there we are going to have for now only this specific method, component name, which is gonna receive the index. So we just need to define this as a function. So we are using here the mustaches, and there we are going to return something as an assigned component. In the same way as we are defining a component, here we are going to define an assigned component. It is basically a component that we are defining on real time, on execution time. So we have define assigned component, and this is going to receive a function that we need to define, well, with the actual component that we want to return. In this case, this is the import of an icon that we have from the list of icons of hero icons. So here we are going to have a function that is going to return, of course, the import. So let's put that in a different line. Here it is, import, basically the same that we are doing in the top, but of course this is gonna be dynamic. So this is gonna be from hero icons view solid. This is exactly the same that we have there. So let's put it here, hero icons view solid, but then we need to define what is the name of that specific icon. So we are going to concatenate that, saying this, that we need to go to the list of projects. So we have here projects, and this is basically a collection. So we can go to that specific index that we are receiving as a parameter here for the component name, and then we are going to obtain the icon name. All of that comes from the projects. So once we have that, we finally need to include the name. Essentially, those are going to be called, for example, baker icon.js or pie icon.js. So all of them we need to finish with icon icon.js. So we have here the icon name, which is coming from our customization list, cube, chip, currency, dollar, etc. And we use the icon.js. So we have two different things to resolve here. First, we don't need now the baker icon because we are already resolving the name of the icon dynamically, but we are using something coming from Vue.js, which is define assign component. In the same way as we have to import the definition of define component, we need to import the definition of define assign component. Fortunately, we can do that this way because both of them come from Vue directly. So at this point, if everything is okay, we should be able to go and verify if this is resolving correspondingly the list of icons. Just in case, before I forget it, we need to remove this definition because we are not using that anymore. So we are already importing dynamically the definitions, and we can go back here, refresh, and let's see how it goes. It looks like we have an error because we have a blank page. So let's open the console. And it is saying that in welcome view, import can only be used in import. Probably I have just a typo, so let's go back here in this specific import. And of course, essentially, we are not importing directly. This is an import as a function, let's say, and we need to close it here in this section. So we have this, and let's use different syntaxes here just to make this a little bit organized. So I can put it this here and here, much better. So once again, this is not essentially the regular import as we have here. This is a function where we are passing the actual name of the component that we are importing and returning here. So let's go back, refresh, and let's verify. It looks like we have an error yet. I just closed that, saying that there is an unhandled error saying the assign component loader. And if we go to the bottom, it looks like it is not finding the currency $icons.js. So it looks like maybe it is not getting concatenated properly. So let's go back here. We have hero icons plus the name of the icon. This is perfectly fine here. But once again, it looks like I make a typo. This is just icon. Of course, it's a single icon in the naming. So let's try it again. The third is probably the good one. So let's close it up. And there it is. Finally, we are getting the actual icons that we have in our database. Of course, you probably, as this is random, getting a different set of colors and a different set of icons. But the good news here is that we are resolving all of them dynamically and properly. So this is basically what we did just to make it absolutely clear. Essentially, we are saying that instead of getting a single tag there, we are defining a generic component which name is resolved automatically by the function, a method, which is the component name, receiving the index of the actual project that we are looping on that specific moment. So this function is getting called every single time that we are looping over the list of projects. And then in the component name, we are just saying, okay, I am defining an assigned component here. It is not a singular and regular component as here, but this time this component definition comes from the result of importing something from the hero icons with this specific name. And here is the dynamic part because the name comes from the database, the elements that we received from our backend, and we just path the icon.js component. So we have, for example, once again, chat icon.js, currency $icon.js, and of course, we are making all of them available right here. That means that all of set of icons that we need coming from hero icons need to be available for us. And that means that our compiler is going to make a full list of all the icons independently of the ones that we are using or not for us, so we can dynamically get them and resolve it on real time because this list can change at any moment for you. So that is a good solution. We are doing it great. And at this point, you are showing, of course, as you can see, the list of skills, the list of projects. We have a header, pretty functional. And now we are going to see in the following class how to make this to work and show an actual model with the form to get a user contacting you. So let's see how to do that in the following class.